1, and I want to see if Xiaopeng can try and fight back now in game number 2.
I'm a little bit heartbroken for Haro that he wasn't the MVP for that game, honestly. When you think about the scoreline he had towards the end of things, he was like fucking 11-3 or something at the end of the day, but that's going to be that. So we have a Cassiopeia and a Nidalee banned away from Rogue Warriors. DMO going to ban the Varus, going to ban the Karma this time, respecting that pick from Wuming.
It's curious to see as well, because there was so much pressure put towards Wuming in the last one. This time around, it looks like they're kind of going, right, well, look, we're not that worried. We want to more hit them where it hurts, making sure Wuming isn't on something where he can't just play it back, and same with Haro. Surprised, though, to see the Aphelios get through. I would have preferred to see the Graves and the Aphelios ban rather than that Karma ban.
The Aphelios, the lock-in here, and even with just the Varus banned, we might still see this Xayah come through, this time on the opposite side of the board, so maybe there's some shenanigans going on behind the scenes. Or maybe this is just DMO going, look, hey, it worked for you last time, maybe we go for that one, but at the end of the day, I think they're going to fall back to comfort.
I'd be surprised to see the Xayah locked in against the Aphelios. Aphelios likes champions that are short-ranged, like that Xayah is, and he can get in on top of, you know, get a Gravitum down, force these engages where you really don't want them. So having something like an Ezreal or an Ashe where you can keep that distance does a lot better. And even though you think, okay, well, let's match the crit scaling with the crit scaling of Aphelios and Xayah, it doesn't quite work out when you look at the lane.
Xiaopeng going to grab his comfort champion in this Lee Sin. It's what we saw in game number 1. He looked all right on the Lee Sin, although a couple of the kicks a little lackluster, but we are going to see that counter pick in the jungle for Haro as he grabs himself the Rek'Sai. We talked about Lay's Thresh already. When you've already got the Aphelios, this is just the perfect lock.
I'm surprised to see Haro go towards the Rek'Sai though. It's the first time we've seen him in the split, and although we know that he can play super aggressive in the early stages and go for these ganks, it's not something that I usually associate with Haro, where I want to see him more on these carry styles, and that's kind of where he's found the most success. But we have seen him hard carry on Elise, we've seen him look great on Lee Sin. It feels like the Rek'Sai is just playing into that early game style.
We'll see if they're going to try and set up Wuming to be more of a carry with this Karma banned away. Twila on the other side of the scoreboard, though, is going to lock in this Syndra for himself. So he's certainly going to have carry potential in that mid lane, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see some mid lane bans here.
I'd imagine so, although you got with the Syndra there, you've got a lot of power in that lane. Could go towards something like the Zoe. Has been something that Wuming is... Oh, sorry, yeah, it has, by the way. For Wuming, he's played that most in his career and has been something played a lot of in the LDL. So you're going to, as you're saying, going to see a bit more attention towards that mid lane. But I think as well, when we look at DMO, they need something that is going to set up and engage to it for you. So you can look towards maybe something like the Ornn, but I'd like to see focus towards preventing some of these more engage-heavy tools for DMO, not so much the disengage like that Tahm Kench.
Well, it's the Tahm Kench been banned away, as is the LeBlanc. So Twila just wanting an easier laning phase, making sure that he has a really great matchup for this Syndra. And in the meantime, Rogue Warriors trying to get UA out of the equation here. And I mean, something like a Bard goes very well with the Ashe, but whether or not UA plays the Bard is a different question.
UA may not be going towards it, but still, Braum banned away, so a lot more of these defensive picks that we talked about for UA. And now, though, I'd like to see them lock in something like the Volibear here for Chelizi. I think, well, or you can go towards the support. You already know what you're up against, so locking in the support isn't too bad. But I would have preferred to see them opting in towards one of these big bruisers where they know they're going to win out in top lane. The Volibear is the one that stands out towards me. Means you have 2 lanes now as DMO you can play through, both top for Chelizi and Twila on the Syndra in the mid lane. Great gank setup on both sides. And then you can just have Xubin and Wei played just standard in the bottom side.
I mean, the Volibear will still be open for them. And if this is locked in for Rogue Warriors, Volibear does great into Ornn. He'd love that matchup for himself. But we'll see where Rogue Warriors are going to go with their picks. And it looks like Wuming sticking on this supportive style. So not going to step up to be the carry. And it feels like Rogue Warriors are sticking all of the eggs in the ZWuJi basket. He got MVP in game number 1, and he's an Aphelios for game number 2. So they're hoping that this late game AD carry is going to be what's required to carry them to a victory here. Just got to lock in this solo laner for the top lane.
Yeah, Renekton isn't the worst idea here. It just gives you something that, again, you have control of that top side of the map and works super well for you. And as well, it provides at least something that you can look to enable this Galio with. It's a little bit difficult, though, when you look towards how deep Holder can go in this Renekton. It's not like you're going to be able to get on towards Chelizi or even Twila in the back line. So it's going to be more of a case of you're delivering Wuming into the front line, which doesn't have that big of an impact when you're looking at an Ornn.
Chelizi on that Ornn for himself, so no carries from the side of DMO when it comes to the top side of the map, but Holder very much going to have a carry in his hands with this Renekton if he can find a way to snowball this early game. And when we look at the side of Rogue Warriors, it's very much early game in the top half of the map, late game in the bottom half.
Certainly so. And I think that's where your Rogue Warriors are going to try to win out in this game, is trying to have clear lines where Haro can play through. Both in top lane now for Holder, where you can try and set up the Renekton onto this Ornn and at least set yourself up for a nice early game of both top and jungle. Same when you look certainly towards the mid lane as well. If you can close that distance onto the Syndra, you have so much prevalent CC that you should be able to lock down Twila pretty aggressively and make sure you can pick up a kill there. So I think that's where the main focus is going to be for Haro. But if you notice, that's also the two places we pointed out here on the side of DMO. They like to play towards mid and top. So again, we're going to have this battle between the two junglers to make it happen.
When that first Scuttle Crab spawns,
yeah.
Oh, it's going to be fireworks up towards that top side of the map. We've got Xiaopeng and Twila, the real carries in the early game coming out from DMO, whereas it's Holder and Haro on the side of Rogue Warriors that you want to keep your eyes on in these first sort of 15 minutes. We'll see how that's going to go down, though, because we've also got a very neutral matchup in that mid lane. Twila will be wanting to put the pressure on, but Wuming should be able to weather this storm with this Galio. But it's time for game number 2, and it's time to see if Rogue Warriors can keep the ball rolling here, or if DMO bring us the full distance in this Fiesta. It's 16th against 17th as we get onto Summoner's Rift once more.
And I think this is going to be a super interesting game once again, to see how these two early game teams can find their advantages in the early stages. Don't forget as well, Xiaopeng, you do have options down here for Xubin and Yue. Even though we usually don't see DMO playing through that bottom side, an Ashe and a Nautilus can set up really well for the likes of this Lee Sin. So a lot of opportunities on DMO's side to make plays mid and towards bottom if they really want to. But look, Rogue Warriors came out the better in that last game, so I'm not certain which way we're going to see this go.
Yeah, I mean, we could try and predict how this game is going to go looking at win conditions. We could try and figure it out based on the players, but ultimately, after game number 1, I'm not sure science is going to help us here, Dagda. We're beyond the realms of science. We're into the utter madness that is the bottom of the LPL. And you know what? Game number 1 showed us exactly that. And I'm hoping game number 2 will be a similar affair. But Rogue Warriors fans are hoping for a much simpler game.
Well, you've already got your wish, Munch. We're right into the Zimbabwe to start things off.
The red buff has been forgotten about. Xubin forced to flash very early here. Yue as well. On his Yue out of this fight with the dredge line, and we're just going to have everyone backing away. So, just a flash for flash.
Yeah, Holder was there, tried to help out in that play, so DMO do move out of there, but you do get the teleport out of Holder, so potential here for a little bit of a disruption if Xiaopeng wants to make his way up towards that top side. Try and get Holder low and force him to have that long walk back to lane.
That feels like a bit of a weird one for Holder to stick around to try and defend the red buff. Like that, having a teleport down this early in the game, bear in mind he got nerfed, so it's a long old cooldown at this point.
The big issue there was the effectiveness of the 3 members on each side that were there. So Wuming and Twila were still duking it out mid, so it's not like you're going to have Wuming come across. And Xiaopeng, if he started with the Sonic Wave, has more power than Haro. ZWuJi isn't that good at level 1, whereas the slows and the volley hitting onto multiple members from Xubin is a lot better. So I think it was the correct call from Rogue Warriors to just make sure they're getting this red buff, but at the same time, it can be a potential upset for Holder.
Xiaopeng hovering around the bottom side. He's got a ward for a ward jump. If Yue found an engage for himself, steps forward, threatening the dredge line here. ZWuJi misses the cannon. They did it. They denied the cannon. And Xiaopeng still didn't recall. He's going to be there for the bottom scuttle.
Yeah, but now Haro gets full access to the topside jungle. So Rogue Warriors are punishing this beautifully. So already Xiaopeng's in a pretty terrible matchup until he does hit that level 6 mark, but Haro's just extending how much pressure he can have. Xiaopeng still level 2. Haro will clear red and can go towards Scuttle or even some of the Raptors as well if he really wants to, and then hit level 4 far sooner than anyone else.
He gets to move over towards his blue buff as well, so has complete control of the jungle matchup right now as Haro will be able to grab himself DMO's chickens here. And Xiaopeng just going to have to settle for his wolves. He knows that he can't really go for an invade on towards Rogue Warriors.
Well, you say that, but look at where bottom lane is right now. Xubin and Yue have already shoved in. Twila has some control over mid as well. I would have preferred to see him move in and try to steal away some of the camps from Haro's side. Unfortunately, though, with the way that he pathed, it now means that Haro has cleared a lot of the top side. He's even left one chicken there for Xiaopeng to clear out. A couple of chickens anyway. And now Haro can clear away his own stuff on the bottom side and come out ahead.
And I love that Haro is basically going, I'm not even going to get the blue buff. I don't have mana. I don't care about the blue buff. I'm just going to clear the camps that Xiaopeng could potentially get later on and make sure that he stays ahead in that tempo. When you look at the CS in the jungle, you can see that it's working beautifully.
And you know exactly where Xiaopeng's going to be as well. Because you know that he cleared 2 camps to make that play on the bottom side, you can now know as Haro, hey look, there's going to be nothing on this bottom side of the map. You will have the Krug that's about to respawn, which is, or not Krug even, sorry, what's the camp? The Gromp that's about to respawn, which is why he's now here. But you know Xiaopeng has to be top side, because I've taken away his Raptors, he's just cleared his bottom side, he has to be on Krug's top side.
He's also Rek'Sai, so he can make some very sneaky ganks happen here. Tunneling on over, doesn't even take a tower shot. Flashes for the knock-up onto Xubin, who's slowed, but ZWuJi could never get in range. There's a hook coming through onto the support. Instead, they have to settle for Yue. But you know what? First blood is first blood.
And this is great play from Haro. This is why he's actually such a pleasure to watch, is the smart passing that he goes for and making that play happen, knowing Xiaopeng was going to be on the top side. And now as well, with Lei and ZWuJi having control of bottom side, they spot out Xiaopeng going towards this Gromp, and Haro's looking to contest it.
Oh, there's the follow-up hook. Beautifully done by ZWuJi. Finds the Calibrum, the Gravitum to follow it up, and then slamming down the Justice Punch from Wuming to finish the kill. He has to flash over the wall, and Yue is here, but oh, it's beautiful. That's how you play Galio, boys and girls.
Well played overall by Rogue Warriors. Getting the double kill and getting away free as well. You had that TP committed by Twila, so it's not like Twila's now shoving in mid lane and losing stuff for Wuming. Thanks to answering and that genius play from Wuming, they all get out, and it's the perfect heist.
Oh, it's magnificent to watch. Who said that these are the bottom 2 teams in the LPL? That was perfect. That was a great execution from Rogue Warriors.
I think if you look at the bracket, it just says 16. I think that's
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, we're in. Is this a competition?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, did you not get that memo? It was sent out last
Yeah,
week.
no, I missed that.
Okay.
Let's take another look, though. Xubin, obviously, able to flash himself to safety, keep himself alive.
Great play from Haro. So flashes around the hook that would have connected with him and potentially set up for a lot of damage to come back. But unfortunately, a misstep from Yue. He went too far forward trying to protect Xubin, and this commitment here from Rogue Warriors was so well played. You get the heal from ZWuJi to keep the Galio alive when Wuming comes in here as well, because he knows he's tanky, and you get nothing turned around. And still again here, well played by Wuming to get out of there.
You know, Wuming even managed to steal a cannon there with a minion dematerializer. But honestly, the beautiful thing about that play was ZWuJi on the Aphelios. I know you guys in Twitch chat hate Aphelios. I know Hysterics hates Aphelios, but just bear with me here. That's hard to pull off. Lands the Calibrum, immediately swaps weapons, gets the Gravitum route to set Lei up to find the hook under the tower. That is a really good combo, and that's not easy to do.
Yeah, and I think that's why you can put the pitchforks away for the moment. That was just smart play as a whole from the entirety of Rogue Warriors. And I want to see more of that. I want to see them keep this going, and it looks like I might get my wish here as Haro is in the bottom side. He didn't get spotted by that hawk shot.
He's got away with it for now. DMO moving everybody up towards the mid lane here. As Wuming, he's going to know what's going on.
True, but you can also just say, hey, as Rogue Warriors, we're just going to commit to this bottom lane structure. We're just going to get all this extra gold into the Aphelios, and you may have committed all your members towards this Rift Herald, but we don't care.
The Rift Herald is the name of the game right here. Actually, it's going to be a little heartbroken with that Searing charge, as Holder will be able to clear this minion wave out. And with this bottom lane moving up from DMO, with the Herald spawning now on the map, DMO are the ones in position to start things off there. But Rogue Warriors are going to be here in time to contest.
And with DMO already in place, it gives more access to Holder towards that back line to set up for Wuming, but Wuming doesn't have his ultimates.
Keep your eyes on Holder, because Renekton is the king of these early skirmishes. Dominus already used Xubin's in trouble as the Herald is low, but it's Yue tanking up a lot of the damage. Herald went down as Wuming forced out of the fight, but there's one kill going the way of Holder as he's chased out of the fight, but they can't quite finish the kill onto him. ZWuJi stepping forwards now, everyone else over the wall as Haro burrows over. In goes Xiaopeng, committing to the kill. But I think he might have overcommitted. Does have his flash available, so potentially could safeguard out.
Xiaopeng needs to clear a camp before he can hit 6, which is why he's starting up this blue buff. If he can kill this blue, he'll hit 6 and has a potential to start making another play here.
We could have an insane play ahead of us, but Twila wants blue for himself and robs his jungler of everything. He's then stunned up and taken down. Xiaopeng goes back in, just desperately trying to find something for his team. Lane now slowed by xubin, but he's got a stopwatch, so he gets away with it. Somehow xubin is just robbed in this one. Now he wants to get onto Haro, but there's a teleport available. In comes another player from Rogue Warriors. It's Holder over the wall. And there's a Void Rush to jump straight on towards xubin. Forced to flash away. And Rogue Warriors, they get away with it again, Dagda.
How do they keep doing this? Every single time they manage to find these fights. And it is far from clean. But Rogue Warriors, you said it in game number 1, Munch, they thrive in this chaos.
They create the chaos, and then it's like arguing with an idiot, Dagda. They will bring you down to their level, and then they will beat you through sheer experience. That is Rogue Warriors in a nutshell.
And, I mean, look, you can see that experience shine in that last fight. It is everywhere. It is all over the place. There is questionable decisions all the time. But Rogue Warriors still managed to come out on top. And right now, it's 5-1. You've got a 3,000 gold lead again opening up for Rogue Warriors. I'm going to have to see, with their, again, later game scaling comp, if they can keep that going.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, because you know what? We've seen this before. Rogue Warriors have had leads earlier on in this series, if you cast your minds back. And in fact, they had an even more significant lead in game number 1. The mid-game did not resemble that, though. Everything went skew-whiff, and from that point on, honestly, I don't know what to expect. I daren't say that Rogue Warriors are way ahead in this series anymore.
Because you never know, right? But we do have DMO trying to make plays on this bottom side. They assume Haro will be trying to play down towards this bottom side as well, because you know Rift Herald is here for Xiaopeng, so they're going to want to give that gold to xubin.
Play going to be stunned, but once again finds the hook while that's going down. Xiaopeng pushed away from the play. Nice damage out of ZWuJi, and now the chase down as Haro flashes for the knock-up, and it's xubin in trouble. One more auto. ZWuJi finishes it as Haro gets the kill and blow. In comes the Galio. Finds a knock-up onto UA, but can't quite finish it off. Calibrum goes wide as well as Xiaopeng forced away once again. Twila's in, but he doesn't have any damage. Can't finish off Wuming, who jumps forward, gets himself a taunt. He's got a stopwatch as well, so he gets away with it. Oh. Once again, one more auto goes through from ZWuJi as he chases them up the lane. They'll find themselves some plates here.
The big thing, though, is DMO's play was stopped. You don't get the Rift Herald charge onto that bottom lane turret. It's going to time out now before they can actually make a big play and get a lot of that gold into the likes of xubin. And as well, ZWuJi is getting nice in bed here on top of the turret.
This is feeling like the patch where Stopwatch first came out, where everyone was buying it and nobody knew quite when to expect it. Everyone was getting baited by it. Rogue Warriors keep on getting away with these plays because of Stopwatches.
Yeah, it is a little bit silly, but again, Lei on these hook timings is so good. Every time eating the ult from the Ashe, but getting that death sentence off sets up this play. Haro goes deep to try and nearly get the kill there, but they do manage to finish it off. Unfortunately, though, the Galio ultimate comes in a little bit too late to try and keep him topped up. And Wuming, a bit questionable with the Justice Punch there, ends up going straight into the wall rather than really being able to compound the CS difference that was there. But still, Rogue Warriors come out on top.
He got away with it, so what do they care? DMO, in the meantime, though, have got themselves 2 dragons. So at least there's some benefit here. There's some silver lining for the side of DMO, and it's going to be an Infernal Soul. So last time it was a Cloud Soul, so it was a bit of a meme. This time around, Infernal Soul means these teams are going to have to protect these dragons.
The problem here is, though, that Rogue Warriors have been pretty far accelerated, and if you're just compounding a whole bunch of different Infernal Souls onto that...
Oh, hang on. We've got a play coming out from DMO this time around. They're onto ZWuJi, and the damage is coming out from xubin here. Knockups and stuns across the board. That is clean from DMO.
And that's what we see from DMO in these early stages. Xiaopeng with a great kick on towards ZWuJi. Gives enough CC for xubin to finish off 2 members. Twila gets the double kill. And it now means DMO are starting to come alive.
I'm starting to understand this series now, Dagda, which is something I
good.
never thought I would say. It's when Rogue Warriors are making the plays that it's all complete chaos. But when DMO have their way, when these set plays can be made, it looks fantastic. They honestly looked so well executed.
And again, it's a lot of this coming from Twila moving down alongside Xiaopeng. This seems to be the mid-jungle 2v, well, duo at least, that want to try and have a big impact on this map. Oftentimes, Xiaopeng needs to set up Twila to enable him to get out of lane, but at least with all the chaos that we've seen so far, Twila was able to get out of lane. And watch this kick from Xiaopeng onto lane here. Kicks him straight into ZWuJi, gets enough damage there where you can set up for 1 kill for yourself, 2 kills for Twila, and the turret plates to boot.
So, you mentioned ZWuJi there. He's moved up to the top side of the map now so that they can set up for the Rift Herald that will be spawning shortly. DMO are here to answer, though. They've moved people up as well, and it's going to be Chelizi versus Holder in the bottom side of the map. Worth mentioning, once again, Twila. No matter what the champion, he's gone for the GLP again, this time on the Syndra. And tower plates a lot more even this time around.
Yeah, there's not much of a difference, or at least to ride home about. Lei looking for the hook. Swing and a miss, though.
So I'm going to miss indeed. UA going to be okay on that one, but with Rogue Warriors now moving everybody in here, bear in mind Wuming could just stay in that mid lane and still be a part of the play because he's on the Galio. Hero's entrance always available. UA, the one to tank things up as Lei takes himself an arrow, but he's happy to be the target of that one. You've got Twila on the back line, but in the meantime, the rest of his team is taunted up. UA somehow surviving in with the Hextech Proto Belt as well, as ZWuJi now suddenly finds himself in the front line, needs to be careful. The Herald reset during all of that chaos. The Rogue Warriors are happy to start it up again.
Yeah, DMO are very separated. You don't have a lot of these key ultimates now available for them. And he waves back in base, so Rogue Warriors again find the fight, find the objective.
You know what? Wuming is looking great. Like, in game number 1, he was pretty decent for himself on the Karma. Obviously, you can't really shine that bright on a Karma necessarily, but now on the Galio, 3-0-3, he's looking good in these fights.
And I think this is what I wanted from Rogue Warriors in a lot of situations is, I mean, look, you have seen Ruby play the likes of Syndra and the Zoe and stuff, but he's always felt more at home on the likes of these here. But having a mid laner that can focus on these mid-game champions and give a little bit more agency towards Rogue Warriors and how they want to play is clearly working a lot better for them because they have their carries. They have Haro, who wants to be the carry for this squad. ZWuJi as well, the Vayne one trick, you know he's going to want to go and be the carry. So enabling Haro and ZWuJi, I feel works a lot better on this team, and it looks like Wuming's able to provide that.
They're going to find themselves the first tower of the game as well. So now as we head just past the 16-minute mark here, we can kind of take a bit of a recap of where we're at on the scoreboard because the gold lead has somewhat diminished here. DMO catching up, closing that gap. And let's bear in mind, in a couple of levels, Chelizi, with the Ornn items, will close that gap even further.
And the mid-game here is going to be a little bit topsy-turvy. Because as you said, you do have the Ashe and the Syndra who will be getting a lot of these Ornn items in, so they do tend to be quite strong. But you still have an Aphelios on the other side. You still have to deal with how strong this Aphelios can be. So when we get towards those later game portions, definitely Aphelios will be stronger. But at least that mid-game portion where DMO can win out in these fights, like at moments like this, cannot be understated.
Yeah, the hard thing for DMO is it's like when it's a set play like that bottom dive, it's great, but it's harder to execute a set play around a neutral objective because there's too many factors, there's too much going on. And it feels like when there's too many factors, that is Rogue Warriors' true comfort zone. Ooh, Lei with an attempt onto UA there. Let's bear in mind, Infernal Drake spawning here in 5 seconds.
And the thing where we've seen the victories for DMO is that it tends to be when they have these big early game leads where Xiaopeng has had a massive impact and they can just carry off of the weight from those early fights. But unfortunately for DMO, our team fighting hasn't been stellar enough to be able to bring back some of these deficits, and let's see if they can now.
Hook onto Lei here. Chelizi with a call of the... Oh, he missed the ult. Chelizi, come on, man. Knockups from the Galios in the meantime. It's ZWuJi that went down, and this is a great fight from DMO as they're trying to clean things up. Holder doing what he can in the back line, and he will find one for himself. He's got a duel between the junglers off towards the side of the fight. At the end of the day, though, it's DMO with 2 kills.
And they can now turn towards this dragon as well. This will put them on that soul point, which is so crucial for DMO. But unfortunately for Rogue Warriors, too many missteps here, and they're not quite able to find that victory.
Chelizi somehow missed his Ornn during all of that. He wasn't even under any pressure, but you know what? It didn't matter anyway. They still went out the fight for themselves. And as you rightly said, this mid-game is when they are strongest.
And it's off of this one-item spike, especially with Twila going towards that GLP, gives that mid-game spike. But Wei here did such a good job. So able to get that hook, separates the team, and then sets up for Twila and for xubin to finish off ZWuJi because he's separated on his own, no peel, no anything. And from that point, well, where's your damage on Rogue Warriors? Yeah, Holder can do some. Yes, you've got a Galio that can kind of do a little bit, but it's not enough to carry these fights.
It was a sick little kick there from Xiaopeng. In the meantime, while all of that was going on, Twila's died in the bottom lane. I'm not 100% sure how or why, but there you go. That's just life, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? 10-7 on the scoreboard as DMO try and put some pressure on the mid tower, but they won't be able to finish it off.
Still can put more pressure on towards that top side as well. I mean, you'll end up trading turrets, but I think overall it doesn't really matter too much. It looks like that could be the play, but we're getting... Oh, this is the replay, yeah.
Okay, well, Twila's clearing a wave, and Rogue Warriors are happy to commit absolutely everything in the kitchen sink
I was going to say, that's a huge amount. TP, and you've got the flash out from Haro. Like, Rek'Sai is a champion that is pretty required to have a flash. Your utility in fights goes way down if you don't have that. But
oh, hang on. We've got to pick onto Lei here. He's going to flash himself to safety and drops a box as well. Haro there, they decide they can't overcommit to the play, but hey, they got the tower. That's all they really want.
Yeah, it's 1-for-1 trade when it comes towards towers, but this mid lane now is under a bit of siege because you need to reposition here as DMO. xubin, that may not be the position you want to go for, but okay.
xubin moves in alongside his support here, and they're going to be able to clear the wave. So, when we take stock, DMO, they're 3 towers to 2 in the lead right now. Dragons, they're on Soul Point, Infernal Soul, no less. When it comes to gold, though, still mildly in favor of Rogue Warriors. So now the question for me, Dagda, is in 2.5 minutes, when this next Infernal Drake comes up, how are we looking? Is it still just like DMO's composition is just firing on all cylinders, or can Rogue Warriors really look for a fight?
I think a lot of it comes down to a couple of different factors. So when I look at Twila's build, he's going towards that Spellbinder. He's just like, look, I need to burst ZWuJi. That is my job here, to just kill that Aphelios. So opting in towards definitely a build that spikes harder in this mid-game point, but one that is catered towards assassination. So I think if Twila can get access onto ZWuJi, and you've got xubin there as well, even Xiaopeng, they can make that play work. But if ZWuJi is able to be in a position where he can just free fire from the back line, completely untouched, he's got a bunch of people to peel from, like Lei, Wuming, and Holder, even to a certain extent. There is a potential here that ZWuJi can just out-sustain this fight.
I mean, that would be the question, right? Because sustain is always one of the things that comes up when you talk about Aphelios. Because if he's got Severum, if he's got a few kills for Bloodline, can always make the magic happen. Lei takes Sonic Wave, but that's going to be it. Is DMO just trying to set themselves up for control here? 1.5 minutes until that dragon. And let's be honest, that dragon is everything.
Yeah.
Like, that is, I really, even though it's Rogue Warriors, I don't expect them to try and start a fight until that dragon spawns.
Yeah, but the thing here for Rogue Warriors is, although we talked about, look, if they can keep ZWuJi safe, their ability to find these favorable fights is a little bit harder. We talked about the flash being down for Haro. Holder also not having his flash available is going to be a bit of a hindrance here for the Renekton, who as well wants to be trying to put pressure onto Twila and xubin, so he absorbs a lot of the damage and opens up for ZWuJi to move in. So I'm waiting to see if they can have this same impact in the fight, that they actually can draw a lot of the key ultimates, key damage abilities into the front line rather than onto ZWuJi.
I mean, one of the factors in these fights as well is just xubin on this Ashe. Pretty much every ult is hitting Lei, which, you know, is fine, but realistically, it's not the target you want to be focusing on. It's not the target that you need CC during these fights. If he can land an arrow onto Wuming, onto ZWuJi, even onto Haro, like, that's a dream scenario for DMO, and the follow-up is there to finish that target off.
Look where Haro is. Sneaking off onto this bottom side of the map as well, trying to see if DMO are going to reclaim control of this mid lane, if he's able to get into a nice position to find that sneaky backline.
It's 10 seconds until this Infernal Drake, and that would be sold for DMO. As you rightly say, Haro already in a flanking position. Wants to find the miracle play that might just win his team the game here. Red buff taken by xubin.
Holder just backed for his death stance, so he's now really strong. But there you go, Haro in the perfect position here.
Well, he's got to get moving if he wants to stay in the perfect position, because this dragon is just going to go down. That is sold for DMO. And Rogue Warriors did nothing. Now they go for the fight, but Holder is not tanky enough, even with a Death Stance, and Xubin gets the free fire on the Ashe. This is just the dream scenario for DMO. Not only did they get the soul, but then Rogue Warriors fights them. It's just everything with a cherry on top.
I don't know why they didn't go for the fight earlier. Haro's in a great position. Holder's there. You can make this play happen. Sandwich DMO into this awkward spot. Instead, though, Haro just sits by the wayside. Dragon goes down, and Haro, you're caught again.
I don't even know what to say about that one, Haro. He obviously wanted to contest something in some way. That's about the level of analysis I can offer for that one. Even on top of the soul, we also have a Baron that's going to go the way of DMO. This couldn't look better in the mid-game for DMO. And both games now in a row, it's DMO's mid-game that really shines.
And it's only going to get stronger, right? Because, look, you've now got your Ornn items that are going to start coming through. You just picked up a Baron buff. You can really start to turn up the heat here on Rogue Warriors. And look at the wave clear here for Rogue Warriors. Wuming can provide some. Yes, you got a little bit that can come from ZWuJi, but in a siege scenario where you're against an Ashe and a Syndra who's free firing underneath that turret, it becomes so much more difficult for Wuming and ZWuJi to approach these waves to actually clear them out.
So let's take another look at everything that went. Like, Haro didn't even move until the dragon was taken.
But look at ZWuJi. He's consistently trying to catch up to this play. Haro, as he talked about, doesn't actually get on towards Twila and Xubin, so when we come to AD carries and backliners who are free hitting, DMO are shoveling out DPS in buckets and spades, but you're getting nothing coming out from ZWuJi.
ZWuJi unfortunately not able to get in onto the play here. And now suddenly, we talked about the goal being exceptionally even just a couple of minutes ago. It's 4,000 in favor of DMO. They've got everything. And you know what? We were talking about win conditions. We were talking about, hey, the late game with an Aphelios, with a Galio looks pretty good, blah, blah, blah. Well, not anymore, because there's an Infernal Soul for DMO. Now they have a late game advantage as well. They're just going to continue to scale indefinitely. Ornn items starting to come through. You can see Xubin. He's got 2 items for himself, including that upgrade on his Blade of the Rune King. So, honestly, he could be in trouble, is the actual conclusion here, because Haro trying to get onto him, and UA flashes over the wall. Everything is nullified, and in the meantime, there are towers falling. This is disastrous for Rogue Warriors.
Very well played by UA to get out of that spot and then giving that opportunity for Xubin to get away from there. You're now getting 2 towers picked up by DMO.
Oh
Potentially
God.
this inhibitor turret broken as well.
They're just taking the entire base. They're taking absolutely everything. And Rogue Warriors, as soon as Dragon spawned, they seem to just not be sure what to do about this one. The siege will just continue from DMO as well. There's no reason for them to back away.
I mean, DMO have, although that early game scraps haven't quite gone their way, they did a great job of collecting these dragons, and now off of that dragon play as well, getting the Baron, they're cracking open the base. This is looking like the DMO who are gonna push us to a game 3.
It's feeling that way, isn't it, Dagda, as they just continue to pressure in all 3 lanes. This will be the bottom inhib going down. Rogue Warriors trying to make a play onto Chelizi, who has to stop watch to buy himself a little time. He gets away with it! Dagda, what is going on?
If I knew that, I'd try and fill you in, but this is just... I mean, Rogue Warriors haven't made up a decision at all about what they want to do. They can't commit to anywhere because, hey, look, you don't have these big engage tools from Wuming, like that ultimate to follow up on Haro, on Holder, and that play that they tried to make mid is now costing.
A little bit disjointed there from DMO, but you know what? They get 3 inhibs, so they don't really care. And, you know, we talked about it in game number 1 here. Hang on, we might just have the end of the game here as there's a kill going on towards late. Chelizi is tanking everybody up. Holder gets into the back line. He's doing a lot of damage on this Renekton, and he's winning out the fight for his team. Chelizi taunted. His ZWuJi is still just firing away. Xiaopeng tries to get onto Holder, but their healing is too strong. There's a kill for Wuming. Rogue Warriors have held on.
They have, but they're also down 2 inhibitors. The third one is exposed. I mean, I think you're a little bit more excited than I am for that play. Yeah.
I'm excited because you know what? This is what I wanted. I'm glad that Rogue Warriors haven't just accepted their fate in this game, because that's not the Rogue Warriors I know.
I mean, they have been trying to make plays, right? We saw it in the mid lane. We saw that one there to at least hold on for a little bit longer. But this was just a strange call from DMO to try and force a play here. UA thinks he can heck on delay, but again, it's the tankiest member here. So as long as you're turning all that damage into this Thresh, you're perfectly happy. Plus, none of those key ultimates are down. You don't have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, you don't have that Syndra ultimate either, so that burst damage to try and deal with ZWuJi or any members of Rogue Warriors is quite there.
Also, Holder's a beast. Holder is an absolute beast. He just destroyed them in that fight. He's already got his Black Cleaver, got his Death Dance, and just ran at them with his Dominus up, just cut Xubin down, and was doing so much AoE with his Q and with his ultimate. He's able to just shred everybody. But also, with a Black Cleaver, with his ultimate ticking away, he sets ZWuJi up to do even more damage by shredding that armor down. Speaking of ZWuJi, by the way, he's on 3 items now, as that Aphelios, so he's very much online.
And it's going to be on him to try and carry this game if Rogue Warriors have any sort of chance. Elder Dragon is up in the next few moments, and there is the potential here that if Rogue Warriors can find the right fight, they can win. But Haro's trying to rinse and repeat what happened. But look at the pings. I mean, DMO are well aware of this, so they're just saying, hey, look, we might just push in towards the base and take this inhib instead.
They'll do what Rogue Warriors weren't willing to do last game. Just threaten the mid lane instead. Haro, in the meantime, threatening to start up the Elder Dragon.
He can't. I mean, look, he's going to get spotted on these wards now. They know he's behind them, but DMO have just completely outplayed Rogue Warriors and are going straight towards this inhib.
They didn't even have to do anything to outplay them. Kick across the team from Xiaopeng, and, well, goodbye late. That's one nice, easy kill coming through from DMO. Haro's barely even arrived on the scene. He's going to throw a Prey Seeker, but it's not going to do a whole heap of anything. ZWuJi is still playing Aphelios, though. So all I'm saying is it's still possible here, and he can clear these minion waves like nothing.
Has managed to clear them out, but now you've got no lay. DMO have got multiple pushing waves. They just turn towards the Elder. Now they can fight, especially as Lei won't be up in time to help out, or even look for a pick as they move back through this jungle.
Yeah, DMO can just grab Elder, though. Like, Lei's not up, as you rightly say. Like, they could look for a pick, but ultimately, I think they can just burn this down before there's any answer available from Rogue Warriors.
And that big fighting tool for Wuming isn't available in the ultimate, so hey look, DMO, you're looking good here as long as no steal comes through.
Keep your eyes on Haro, as he could be the determining factor here. It's Holder that's taken low to start this one off. Wuming flashes on forward. Holder still surviving for now, but he's slowed and might just be finished off as well. But Xubin hooked. Nice little QSS from him, keeps himself safe. Chelizi is so damn tanky, they just can't do anything to him. And at the end of the day, they get themselves the Drake, they get themselves 2 kills.
And look at the base. There's super minions streaming in from every single angle. Yay! Not quite able to get it, but there's the TP, and ZWuJi, you got nowhere to go.
Plenty of TPs coming through late. Is low on this one. Haro, once again, not looking great from Xubin, I'm not going to lie, but the power of a goat and a dragon combined there. But DMO have taken us to 3 games, and a much, I mean, after the early game,